Hello and welcome to Nerd Positive. This is a Facebook and YouTube live podcast show that celebrates all the things that we feel are awesome in hopes of spreading our fandom to you. After the live show airs, you can find the show on Spotify, Apple, and anywhere you find audio podcasts a little later. In the show, we dive deep into the hearts of fandoms and celebrate the things we love. From sci-fi to fantasy, movies to TV shows, comics to video games. We explore the universes that have captured our imaginations and made us lifelong fans. Each week, we'll take you on a journey through the realms of awesomeness. Expect passionate discussions, in-depth analyses, things under the bed, and many, many side quests. So whether you're a die-hard enthusiast or just dipping your toes in the fandom waters, Nerd Positive is the place to be. I'm your host, Bradley Buchan, the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, and with me, like every week, or almost every week.
Every time we do it.
That's right. I have with me the unverified twin of Dave Bautista in the head wrinkles, the unverified twin of Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the eyebrows, the unverified twin of Shamar Moore in the nipples, and the unverified twin of Carl Weathers. How are ya?
Well, first off, the flavor saver is ready to go. The cocktail is fully loaded, and I have yet again, the blood test has not changed. I am Nerd Positive, and I'm ready to do this. My name is Brian S. Dennis, and this week the S stands for money, power, respect. Not only is that a hip-hop lyric, but it has something to do with what I think is a little-known, fantastic show that we all should be watching.
I can't wait to hear about it, man. You know what? Let's get into our favorites of the week. Let's not waste any time. So you want to go first?
I'll go first. So favorites of the week, The Boys continues to, if you haven't caught up, catch up on The Boys. They lost me a little bit with the episode the previous week. This week, they redeemed themselves a bit. House of the Dragon. So last week's House of the Dragon, what can I say? When dragons break up, we all cry those tears.
Yeah.
You know what? R.I.P. to Prince, but if he was still around, or Sinead O'Connor, someone needs to give us, instead of when doves cry, they need to give us when dragons cry. I feel like dragons would be. I feel like dragons, like vampires, when they cry, it's blood. I feel like if dragons cried, it would just be scalding water.
It'd be glass.
There it is.
It'd be glass because it'd be and there is actually a stone called Dragon's Tears.
See, that's why ladies and gentlemen, that is why this man truthfully is the Emperor of Awesome. And then before I get to what I think is the best show of the week, Brad, last week we talked about The Acolyte. And I told you about, it has some moments of logic break, but I still want to give it a shot. It almost lost me this week.
Did it?
I don't know if you've seen this week's. This week was for me. The ones that you said, this doesn't make any sense, and you'll point them out to me. This week, every time they did it, I was like, this makes, like, if you just took 2 seconds and think about like what's actually happening, it was like, wait, but early in the episode, like, of all the things. But before we get to it, because we want to stay positive, I'm going to give you a show. And if you've seen it, fantastic. If you've not, here it is, Bradley. Have you either heard of or started watching the show Supercell?
I have not yet. I just saw a trailer for it, and I was like, where did this come from?
My goodness. So first off, it's only 6 episodes.
Okay.
I am on episode 2.5, meaning I've gotten the first 2 and I'm on halfway through the third. I already know as soon as I get done with the 6, I'm going to restart. If it keeps at the level that it is, I'm just going to completely restart and watch it again because there's little things. This is, without giving too many spoilers, This is anyone that wants to do a empowered metahuman mutant thing without, and how you do it without stepping into the Marvel DC world. Supercell is how you do it. It is
Nice.
fan flipping tastic, because what it does is there's not going to be much new things when it comes to powers, right? Because you've
Mhm.
got too many decades of Marvel, DC, and all the things, right? But what it does do is give really unique origin stories and really unique characters of how the people, similar to the boys, there's nothing earth shattering about the abilities that people have in the boys.
Yeah.
It's the world around and the human beings that possess those abilities. Similar to Supercell, it's those abilities. And the thing that before because I don't want to spoil it, but to give you the premise, we both love Raising Dion.
Mhm.
So
So good.
very similar in the aspect of Raising Dion is you have number one so far, every person's abilities is a person of color. It takes place in London, London's lower end. So they're all middle income and a lot of abject poverty.
Mhm.
And they're not necessarily, it focuses on five people, and they're very different people.
Nice.
And the idea of so much of basically what it does is that a super powered human is still a human. So the person you are without abilities, the person you are with the ability just turns it up, right? So you
Fair.
get
I
to
like it.
see their backgrounds
Mhm.
influencing how they use the abilities, which I just love that. So very cool, very, very cool. So just want to share that. And that honestly is where my S, which stands for Money Power and Respect, comes from, as one of my favorite character in the season so far. That is his tagline,
Nice.
is money, power, respect. So
Man,
gotta love that, sir.
so that is actually going to tag into an idea that I have that I
Mm,
want to bring up to a little bit later in the show. A lot of what you were just saying, and I haven't watched Supercell yet. I actually just saw a trailer for it last night, and I'm like,
okay.
shit, it's too late. I can't start this now. But that just I think you just sold it to be next on my queue.
Yes.
So I will
I
be
can't
definitely checking
I
that out.
can't give it again. I can't give it a higher. I mean, of the things that I'm watching, it's better than the Acolyte. You can't really compare it to House of Dragon.
Mhm.
If I had a choice between watching Supercell or The Boys, I would pick Supercell.
Dude, that is awesome, man. I love when we can get a new property that comes out.
Yes.
It's in that superhero trope and does something awesome. That's what
Yeah.
the best thing about Raising Dion was. It was like, yeah, superhero trope. You got your own spin. It was 100% original.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh man, so good. And like I was late to the Raising Dion. It wasn't
Yeah, I think
until
when we talked about it,
like
you didn't
here.
realize
Yeah.
that you had a first season. Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, so good. Awesome. We'll tell my TV show's the only thing I'm going to add to that to your list was definitely not the Acolyte and WWE.
WWE, yeah, I was actually gonna see. We'll see how our time goes, but by the time we're recording next week, Money in the Bank would have happened.
Yes.
So we can do a real quick predictions on it. There's only 5 matches on the card, and
Oh
they're not
yeah.
even fully fleshed. But I agree with you. WWE was great. Again, it continues, and you get very, very different shows. You get the whole. Well, just go through it. So Raw centered around the Judgment Day, which
Mhm.
until the last week, I would say the Judgment Day was the most, had become the number one faction in the
Yeah.
WWE. You've got Damian Priest as the World Heavyweight Champion. While she's not officially a member of the Judgment Day, the Women's World Champion all of her time around the Judgment Day locker room.
Yeah.
Don't you just want to know that extra present that Liv sent Dom, like on his
Yeah.
phone? The Albus boys were like, "Whoo!" We all know that look, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I I am a little disappointed. I get it. I get it. I know. I know, but you have to take the belts away from Miz and R-Truth. I mean, are they going to make Miz go bad again? I mean,
I
I
hope that
actually,
I think we talked about this last week. I hope so. To that point, the Awesome Truth, the Miz, and who's the awesome part, and our favorite, our Truth, who is I think is the show's favorite wrestler.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. They unfortunately dropped the World Tag Team titles to Finn Balor and
Freaking
JD McDonough.
bobblehead.
He has a little bobblehead. Now the nice thing is McDonough was trained by Finn. They're from the same town over in Ireland. There's a lot there. Their styles. His head though is growing exponential. I'm not sure what's going on. He's on the Barry Bonds diet, but especially their younger years, their work was very very similar. We figured. I think we even talked about it last week. Like who would beat Awesome Truth for the Tiger? I think we thought that might be the first ones to drop their championships. I think we talked about maybe the Creed brothers or somebody like that. The Judgment Day makes the most sense. It furthers a lot of storyline. But you're right, it's a little heartbreaking to see, them drop the belts. Felt like they maybe could have gone a little bit longer with them. And it felt like a match. It was a match on Raw. It was, it was the main event, but it was a match on Raw, not even a lower level pay-per-view. But it was the main event on a Monday, not a well advertised. Like, oh yeah, Live Talk and May Our Truth. The only thing, and because we personally love Our Truth, Ron Killing so much, is basically he got manipulated by a really cute blonde. But she talked him into it, and you're right. I hope this doesn't sow the seeds for a Miz R-Truth split. Miz is better as a heel, but I hope that they don't turn this into somehow the Miz like they're screwing over. If Awesome Truth is done, then let them split. But I just really would not like to see. I hope we don't see Miz and Truth have some type of a feud, because I just don't want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I knew something was going to happen when they went to when Damian Priest said like they need him more than he needs them. And I'm like, shit, they're going to get the belts.
Yep.
They're going to get the belt. There's going to be a tag team because they're building the division of the Judgment Day. Whether there's going to be new people or it's going to totally just break up, and just be a tag team.
Right.
I don't, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, especially with the now the caveat of the main event it won't be the main event. The main event will be based on what happened on last Friday. But the main event for the Raw portion of the pay-per-view will be Damian Priest defending against Seth Rollins. Number one, I really hope Damian Priest retains. But I could see Rollins winning a couple different ways. Number one, with the caveat, the stipulations where they're looking for. If Damian Priest wins, then Seth Rollins can't challenge for the title anymore, as long as Damian Priest holds it. But if he loses, Damian Priest has to leave the Judgment Day. That could play out the way it is right now, knowing that the main event for SummerSlam is going to be Gunther against either Rollins or Priest. Rollins is a babyface, Priest is a heel. Generally, you have a heel versus a babyface. So that makes a little more sense if Rollins is the champion. The other side of it is, does that further the Judgment Day storyline, like you've been hinting at or talking about, that if Priest loses, he has to leave the Judgment Day?
What about this?
Let's hear it, brother.
Thought of this.
Okay.
What if, because of the comment that Priest made, that they need him more than he needs them, and now they're tag team titles.
Sure.
What if they screw him out of to lose the belt?
That could be,
and he would be out of the Judgment
Day. That could happen because, again, you've got Carlito, who's just kind of around, and they could maybe either making Carlito the new leader or, honestly, Finn the leader. Yeah. And then you've got Mommy at some point will come back from injury, and you just know she's not coming back to join the Judgment Day.
No.
They were going to have her leave the Judgment Day somehow anyway. The injury that's kind of preempted, and someone maybe sped up that timeline. And then on Friday we have the reemergence of the Bloodline. So they actually had Jacob Fatu. I love the way the show started. Cody being every bit of his daddy, fired up. Let's go. He just doesn't bleed every match, which I appreciate that, not having blood every match.
Right. We are nerd positive, but
Yes. But other things can be a thing. If you never got a chance to see the Abdullah the Butcher, Dark Side of the Ring Man, there's a reason why people don't blade every match. And then, but what wound up happening out of that is that it established two things. Number one, what will be the main event of Money in the Bank, which is this coming Saturday, which is the day before we record. Typically record anyway, is Cody, RKO, and Randy Orton and their buddy Kevin Owens will be facing off against the Bloodline, consisting of Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. And your boy Jacob Fatu is going to be there at some point. And then we obviously saw two things over the last 2 weeks. They're totally setting up Roman Reigns' return, probably, I'm guessing, at SummerSlam.
I think he's going to make an appearance in Money in the Bank.
He could. He really, really could. But this does set up the split there. Number one, Sikoa saying 2 weeks ago, Roman Reigns isn't coming back. This week, meaning this past Friday, him wanting to be acknowledged as the new tribal chief, and all the members of the bloodline saying that, and give Paul Heyman, there's a reason why this man's a Hall of Famer, is he does not acknowledge him as the tribal chief. And at Paul Heyman's age, and let's be honest, physical condition, the fact that he not only took that Samoan spike, but that power bomb through the table, and we won't see Heyman. So now what they've effectively done, Roman Reigns has not been on television since WrestleMania by his own choice. They played out the injury angle with Jimmy Uso. Jey Uso is on Raw, and now Paul Heyman is going to be on television due to the power bomb. So we have totally set up, and The Rock is off making movies. They've totally set up. You got 4 members of the Judgment Day in Solo, the Tongans, and Jacob Fatu. If you do the math, I see Roman, I see the Usos, and I see the final boss. Is that the match you think we'll see at some point, Bloodline versus Bloodline?
No, because I think The Rock and Roman are going to be on different sides. But man, with Paul Heyman thing, that does, like, because that's the CM Punk.
Yes,
that's
CM
Could
Punk.
We get a Brock Lesnar back?
I was gonna say that's CM Punk. That's Brock Lesnar. There's a few people that are Paul Heyman guys.
Yeah,
is that maybe a signing we've not heard of? That could be some different things. So
right, and
absolutely.
I mean, like the way that Paul and CM Punk were together on Raw.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
that's
and I can see Punk going. I'm not a member of the Bloodline. I'm not your friend. I'm here for Paul. So before we jump into the rest of it, let's just run up you. Okay, I'm gonna pop over to the Money in the Bank card. We've talked about a lot of it already. So let's just run through it again. This is not set in stone. There's a couple. There are a few individuals and a couple of matches that have not been determined yet. But I just want to get your thoughts real quick. So first up is the men's Money in the Bank match, which of right now consists of Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade. And if you don't know who Andrade is, he's Ric Flair's son-in-law, Charlotte Flair's husband. Chad Gable, I like to call him Mini Kurt Angle. Our boy LA Knight, and one final person to be determined. And if I'm looking at this, that final person would come from Raw, because Hayes, Andrade, and LA Knight are all on SmackDown. Uso and Gable are Raw. There'll be one more Raw superstar joining that match based on the 5 folks that you've got in the match so far. Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, and LA Knight. Yeah. Do you think one of them wins the Money in Bank, or do you think maybe the 6th person we don't know? Who do you think wins Money in the Bank?
Well,
on the men's side,
I think as of right now, for what I want it to go to LA Knight. I want it to go to LA Knight. I'm going to stick with LA Knight, depending on who wins the match on Monday Night Raw.
Gotcha. And my tag team partner, I love you to death, brother. I will say the one person that I truly believe will not win Money in the Bank is LA Knight, for no other reason than I think they're pushing LA Knight they're pushing the LA Knight Logan Paul feud. He pinned Logan Paul to get into the match. I see LA Knight actually being screwed out of the Money in the Bank by Logan Paul, which sets up LA Knight and Logan Paul for the United States Championship.
That's fair.
At SummerSlam. All right. From the women's side of Money in the Bank, again, one additional spot should be a Raw wrestler as well. We've got Io Sky, Chelsea Green, who I just love me some Chelsea Green. Lyra Valkyria, the worst name of professional wrestling.
I agree.
Tiffy Time, Naomi. So the unmentioned member of the bloodline in Naomi, and then an additional Raw female wrestler that will be determined tomorrow as well. So again, between Io, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, and Naomi, and knowing that there's still one additional person to be named in the match, who do you see women and women's Money in the Bank?
I think it's going to be Tiffany Stratton or Lyra Valkyria, because they're pushing the crap out of those two right now.
Yes. My hope is, and I really like Lyra, but my hope is that it's Tiffany Stratton. Just got to think when you look at, could you cash in on either side? They're pushing the whole her and Nia Jax thing. I think Nia wins at SummerSlam. That's a really unique dynamic that maybe you get Nia really pushing for Tiffany to go and cash in on the Raw Women's Champion, which most likely will still be Liv Morgan until Mommy comes back. But my pick is Tiffany Stratton as well. Damian Priest and Seth freaking Rollins. We talked about the match, but who's your pick? Priest or Rollins?
Priest, unless he, I'm gonna go Priest. Yep. I want him to retain. I think he's gonna retain.
Yep. And we'll see what happens. Again, tomorrow's show, again, also very interesting to see if we see any further on the Judgment Day. Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental title. Sami Zayn champion, Braun Breaker challenger.
Sami Zayn.
My money's on Braun Breaker. Sami's held it since WrestleMania. They're building Braun as a world beater. Sami sells like nobody business. Braun and that spear. I just think it's time to see. And I think Braun can do a lot with the title. Sami doesn't need it at this point. And I think that sets up maybe Braun Breaker and maybe Sheamus down the line.
Yo, Sheamus.
Or Gable as well. But they're really pushing the whole Gable, and I mean, again, all the cylinders that Raw is hitting on, there's stories within stories. Gable and what happened with the Wyatt Six and him trying to reunite with Alpha Academy, not being unsuccessful. But they did a little deal with him talking to the Creeds and Ivy Nile. That to me makes a lot of sense given their styles. The Creed brothers are incredible in the ring, but they're just flat on personality, as is Ivy a little bit. I think if you turn them heel and had them become Gable's new stable, the Gable stable.
I love that.
If they use that,
you heard it here first.
Again, WWE, you're
nerd
listening,
positive.
And we know. Yeah, and just make sure you're nerd positive. And then the main event, we've got Cody, Randy, and Kevin Owens taking on Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. Who do you see? And again, Jacob, well, even the way it's built right now, it says and or Jacob Fatu. My guess is it'll be Solo and the Tongas. I don't see them putting, similar to Solo back in the original Bloodline. You didn't see Solo wrestle very much. He was the enforcer. They've kind of, in fact, that's what Solo has dubbed Jacob Fatu, is his enforcer. I don't see Fatu in the match. I see the Tongans and Solo. So who do you see winning that? The Bloodline or Cody, Randy, and Kevin Owens?
I see the Bloodline winning. I don't think they're not being very nice to the good guys right now. I think they're going to end Money in the Bank on a darker
exactly.
So that way they can build up SummerSlam.
Yeah, they can build up something so they can build up, and I'll just get more and more people going, we want Roman. And maybe that's what we see is at the end of it, you see the Bloodline standing there and them raising the fingers to acknowledge Solo, and you hear Roman's music.
Oh, dude, I'd be game.
Yeah, that would be perfect. All right. Because again, the power bomb, again, using the old Shield move. And by the way, while it was Solo that delivered the power bomb in the days of the Shield, and when the Bloodline has done that, the person that delivers the power bomb was our tribal chief, Roman Reigns. So there's all the things to really turn this into Roman Reigns returning. And where that goes. So I'm geek for SummerSlam. I'm really geek for Money in the Bank. All right. That being said, sir, now we're going to we talked about a lot of factions that have 3 members, 4 members, 5 members, but we're going to talk about our favorite tag teams, which are duos and buddy movies that have our best duos. So for anyone that's not, we've not done a list in a little bit. Fans, when we do our list, Bradley and I, other than the theme of the list, we don't talk about the list. And I'll keep track to see if we have any. We typically do a top 5, but we also generally have some honorable mentions as well. So I'll keep track to see if we have any people that are either on the list, but especially if they're in the exact same spot. So, sir, if you don't mind, why don't you kick us off with your list?
All right. So the more and more I thought about buddy duos, it kind of spanned more than just movies, cartoons, everything. So
fair.
I'm gonna start with, I got a top 10, and
fair.
My number 1. Or we'll start at number 10. So 10, probably almost one of the biggest duos in animated history. Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble.
Fair. Did you know that you probably do know this, when the Flintstones debuted? Now, most of us know the Flintstones as a Saturday afternoon a Saturday morning cartoon, or some that's that's on Cartoon Network or TBS. But when the Flintstones debuted in the 60s, the Flintstones were really the precursor to the Simpsons. They were a prime time show. They were a primetime show. So again, for those of us that know the animation shows like The Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad, those types of animated shows that come on at night that are really meant for the parents, the Flintstones actually started that. So they were basically, and I remember reading articles that the Flintstones were kind of the prehistoric honeymooners, and they actually played off a lot of the dynamics that were in the honeymooners. And when you look at Ralph and Ed, you can see Fred and Barney and a lot of those things. So, all right, great choice, sir. Now, I would say, while I didn't do anything for television, the only other dynamic duo that I will put along with that, I got two dynamic duos, and not the dynamic duo Batman and Robin. I got to give it to our boys, Pinky and the Brain, and of course, Shaggy and Scooby Doo.
Oh, so I do have Shaggy and Scooby on my list.
Do you? Okay, let's keep it going. All
right. So this is movies. This is also a TV show here. My number 9, Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson.
What version? I gotta know. You gotta pick. There's so many versions.
Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman.
Fair, totally fair.
Yeah,
totally. Now, personally, I might have gone with my favorite watch will always be Lucy Liu.
Oh yeah, Elementary.
My just
good show.
Good show, but
and also Lucy Liu.
Yes. So for my friend Laura, I just want to give a shout out. Yes, you love Lucy Liu as well. So continue, sir.
All right, number 8. Now, Star Wars is gonna make my list here, right?
Once we expand it to this, of course.
So I got 2.
There's so many potential duos. Yeah, I'm curious where you go.
I almost had, I will say this, Vader and the Emperor almost made it, but then they're not really a duo because it's master and apprentice.
I bet I know where you're going, but let's see. I'm excited though. Where you going?
C-3PO and R2-D2 is
not
my number 8.
Not Han and Chewie.
They might be on there as well.
Okay, fair. You're not doing
be on there.
Fair.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
All right. Number 7.
All right.
This group is probably some of the best time travelers ever.
Okay.
Got to be bogus and you got to be excellent. Bill and Ted.
All right.
Bill and Ted. They faced the music. They've had a bogus journey and an excellent adventure.
Fair.
All right, number 6. Sticking with the time travel, there is one time traveling pair that can beat Bill and Ted. And this one, Marty McFly and Doc Brown. Got to hit that.
Got to give you flowers an hour. All right, I want to rewind 1 second. So I just had to start when you mentioned them. Okay, so a steel cage, bloodthirsty, no holds barred match. You have Bill and Ted versus Wayne and Garth. Who's winning that one?
Bill and Ted, only because they're going to use time travel and set things up that they have to go back and set up in the with the phone booth.
One of them. I also agree, Bill and Ted, but I also go between all the flowers that Mike Myers, Dana Carvey, and Keanu Reeves get. I don't think Alex Winters is an angry man.
Yeah.
An angry man. And
Oh
I
yeah.
think Bill's gonna just pop out and just like do like the old school Hulkamania and like rip the shirt, and you'll see like the Wild Stallions tattoo on his chest, and just
Right.
like and then he'll like R.I.P. George Carlin on his back, and he'll just shut it down. So yeah.
Love it.
By the way, Alex Winter, because we know you're not doing much. If you ever want to join the pod, we'd be happy to
You're
have you.
in.
All right,
You're
sir.
in.
Let's do it, sir. Next up.
Number 5, man, the guys that definitely know how to walk: Frodo, Baggins, Samwise, Gimli.
Could you imagine, because their feet are also furry, can
Mhm.
you imagine the athlete's foot after
God.
walking that? Like at that point, the Eagles, I get it why the Eagles wouldn't have wanted to pick him up at that point.
Mhm.
Like, no, that's against my feathers. It doesn't come out easy. But yeah.
It's like, man, they should have taken them from Gryffindor. I mean, or not
Yeah.
Gryffindor, but
I get where Mordor. Yeah.
no, yeah.
Oh, Mount Doom.
Number
Mount
4,
Doom.
Mount
All right,
Doom. Yep. Number 4, got to get Star Trek on there. Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock.
You know, of the two of us, I'm more of the Trekkie. I get Kirk and Spock for old school. It's not a bad pick.
Yeah,
but
I mean, this is William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, but if you're gonna go, the best, if you changed it from duo, but if you made it straight up bromance, it's gotta be Picard and Q.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
Come on, Brute, dude. Talk about things under the bed. The undertones with those two, including into Picard. Come on, sir.
I mean, there's a case for Riker and Troy.
Yes,
as well. I mean, new generation.
Yeah, Data and Yar. You know, because remember he is fully functional.
Ooh. All right.
Real quick tangent. I got a quick tangent for you. I actually saw that episode with my mom. We're sitting there because she likes Star Trek. Okay, real quick. My mom had the biggest crush on Patrick Stewart ever. She thought Jean-Luc Picard was like, and I don't know if you remember this, bro. TV Guide used to have a sexiest man and woman on television. And the year after Star Trek The Next Generation debuted, Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart, won. And they talked about, because it was a scene where he's on like Risa and he's wearing like this pair of short pants and like a vest, and women apparently lost their mind. They thought he was so hot. The bald head, they said like he had like the best legs and all this thing. My mom had such a crush on Jean-Luc Picard. She started watching Star Trek with me. And of course, one of the episodes she watched with me was the when the episode where I think it's called The Naked Now, where they had the virus, and Yar, we know the scene where she opens the cabin with Data, and she's wearing something that, you know, good thing the show came on us, was syndicated. But I just remember when Data goes, he's fully functional in all forms of pleasuring. I never forget, that's the exact quote. And I asked my mom what that meant. I was told to go to my room. So, but she kept watching the show. So I had to watch it back when reruns were a thing. Thankfully, because it was syndicated, it came on like another channel like 2 hours later. So I got to see what I missed. Okay. Next up, my friend.
Number three. Going back animated, probably the greatest of the animated.
Yes, sir.
Shaggy and Scooby.
Boom.
Ruh-roh.
Ruby, Roo.
Ruh-roh, right?
And by the way, Shaggy and Scooby, ever got any extra Scooby snacks? That is the unofficial snack of the podcast.
That's right. Absolutely.
And we do live in Iowa, so, you know, there it is. All right, my friend. Keep it pushing.
Number 2, man, I got to go back to Star Wars, Han Solo and Chewbacca. Yep, I can't say much, man. Those two, you got the life debt, but really, you know, is the life debt valid for Han and Chewie?
No,
they're just brothers. They're bros.
I will say of the Star Wars, and Star Wars is giving us many iconic death scenes.
Mm-hmm.
The one that truthfully hit me to my heart and soul, the Rise of Skywalker, when Kylo kills Han. And again, if you didn't know that one, what are you
You mean
doing with your life?
Force Awakens? Force
Yeah,
Awakens. Yeah.
Force Awakens, not Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Sorry, Force, the good one of the third
Mm-hmm.
trilogy. Um, Chewie's scream,
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't. Let's be real. Han's widow is not Leia Organa. By the
No.
way, what a great last name.
Right.
It is completely. Hey, I got an Organa for you. All right, okay, we're 12, folks. But Chewie felt every ounce of that loss, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just again the ocular perspiration took me there. All right, my friend,
Absolutely.
loving your list. What's next?
Number one, there's
Let's
only
hit it.
one number one from the time we said that we were going to do duos. Probably the greatest duo in all of pop culture. All of it. We're talking movies. Maybe not movies because there's only one and it's not that great. But everything else, Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin, man. I mean, you Robin is an amazing character created to give more to bring Batman out of the dark a little bit.
And unfortunately gave birth to so many tropes of a billionaire dressing a little kid in an outfit
Mhm.
and short pants and showing riding him up and down the bat pole.
Right.
Yes, we know all the jokes. We probably
Yeah.
said ourselves, but I got to give you that one. Now, I will say, I think you said there's only one that's not that great. I will argue there's two because the
Oh,
Batman
Burt Ward.
movie from the 60s, I think counts live
Yeah.
action, and that one at least. Come on now, you got to give them when they're doing the bat surfing. You
Hmm.
got to give them give 'em a little love there. But I give you Batman and Robin. You know what, Chris O'Donnell, you deserve better.
Yeah. And I wish they would have just went straight to Nightwing and Batman. Then it wouldn't have been Batman and
It would,
Robin. But
yeah, it would have. I mean, it would have made so much sense. They kind of already, and not to mention, oh, now I'm gonna forget his name right now. The gentleman who played uh Robin. Ha, see what they did there. In Dark Knight Rises. Oh shoot, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
yeah,
He was way more Nightwing than Robin.
yeah.
It would have made perfect sense. And I wish we've gotten maybe a Nightwing product out of that. And I get Nolan
Hmm.
was leaving, they did all the things, but that still is a great iconic scene. But I got to give you Batman and Robin is up there, sir. So fantastic list. But before I go any further, before I share my list, now our lists are going to look different with them different styles. I looked up and down. We matched on a whopping 0.
This is the first.
This is a
This is a
first.
first.
This is a first. We would have had one, but at the last minute, I double checked my list. I changed a little earlier. I took off Bill and Ted. Had I left Bill and Ted on, we would have actually matched on one. But that, by the way, I think that goes to show you how many awesome duos there are.
Hmm.
Is that you went through 10, I have 15.
Oh, nice.
So of the 25 total duos that we mentioned, and I'm double checking my list here. Yeah, we matched on 0 of them.
Wow.
So I'm excited. So if
Bring it.
you're cool, I'm gonna hit my list. Okay. So I did my list a little different. Instead of a top 10, I did a top 5, but I've got 10 honorable mentions. So here's my
Sounds
10
good.
honorable mentions. So first off, I gotta go with, and I stuck strictly the movies. So
Hmm.
when I do I gotta start off with honorable mention number 1 in no particular order. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito in Twins. Also in Junior, but the less said about Junior, the better. Twins United, outside and in.
Hmm.
Great one. And also my favorite movie starring R.I.P. Kelly Preston. Really good one. And just a really, really great movie. Next up, oh, I lied to you. I thought I took Bill and Ted off. They are still here. So Bill and Ted, so we didn't match on one. Matched on one. Okay. I read my list like 4 times. I could have sworn I left Bill and Ted on, but I thought, but they were still there because that was between Bill and Ted and Wayne's World. So so I thought I took them out, but I kept them on. So correction, ladies and gentlemen, we do have one match. Next up, Will Ferrell and John C. Riley in Step Brothers.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yes,
That's a
yes.
really good one.
Remember, boats and hoes. Boats and
Mhm.
And by the way, I don't know if it's such a thing, but if there is such a thing as the Catalina Wine Festival, I really want to go.
But they're making a sequel to that now, I believe.
I believe they are as well. So the next two, the next two are movies that I just absolutely love. One of which I don't know. I'm curious if you've seen this. So it is Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines in Running Scared.
Yes, that is a deep pull.
Starring as the villain, an early film for one Jimmy Smits. So if you've not seen it, great movie in the early 80s. Billy Crystal and Gregor Hine play a pair of Chicago cops. Just really great. Really, really funny movie. Really, really good movie. Next up, because a lot of these buddy movies, especially if it's two guys, they're cops. So I'm giving a shout out to our mutual friend, one Jamie Norton. Our code name for each other is Tango and Cash. I'm going Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell for
that almost
Tango
made
and
mine.
Cash. Including an early sighting by one Terry Hatcher, who was very much in her Terry Hatcherness. She plays Stallone's sister.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to rewatch this now, or at least YouTube Terry Hatcher.
Yes, there are a lot. Yes, and Jack Palance as the crooked prison warden. All those things. Yes, yeah, I can pull deep. I love me some Tango and Cash, bro.
Dude,
I can go straight up
Last
very deep
Boy
on
Scout.
Tango.
It should have hit.
Oh
Hit
God,
Last Boy
Willis
Scout.
and Damon Wayans. Yes.
Man, Bruce Willis didn't hit my list at all.
Yes. Come on, you can even argue, even though they're opposition, especially in Unbreakable, him and Samuel Jackson, and how they played off each other in I'm forgetting there's another Samuel Jackson Bruce Willis movie now.
It was
Pulp Fiction. No, that's
no, Travolta, but no,
yeah.
You're talking about Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yes, thank you. Die Hard with a Vengeance. That's a white man with white man problems.
And that would have made it. That would have been that.
Yes.
Okay.
And by the way, again, I'm sure his family has many other things, but Bruce Willis, we know what's going on with your health. Thank you for the fantastic memories and movies. Seriously.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Motherfucker. Yes. All right. Next up, just because they always make me laugh, Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, primarily in Coming to America, spelled T-O, but also Coming to America with the 2 in the middle. Not as good as the original. It wasn't going to be, but Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, just because I just love Coming to America. And I've shared this before, but the godfather of our show is one Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson actually has a really bit part in that movie as the person breaking into McDowell's. And one of the few movies he probably does where he had a line and one that wasn't MFer. All right. Now, I want to give the ladies some love. And this is, I believe, the only one of my deals that's from a drama, but I got to give it because it's in the AFI as one of the most inspirational movies of all time. Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon, Thelma and Louise.
Oh, that's a good one too.
All right, tangent. So my mom and I went and saw Thelma and Louise, and I want to say we saw either on Mother's Day or around Mother's Day. So we saw. Now I'm assuming you know how Thelma and Louise ends, my tag team partner.
Oh yeah.
So because they kept going. So as the movie ended, I'm sure these are two very, very wonderful women. But as we're leaving, these two older ladies who are in the row behind us that are in front of us that are leaving, literally go, "Do you think there'll be a sequel?" And my mom, being my mom, broke it to him like and again, spoiler alert if you've never seen Thelma and Louise, but they drove off like kind of that thing.
Yeah.
Kind of that thing. And you also get in Thelma and Louise, if you didn't know this, sure you do, bro. They gave us one Brad Pitt, his first major
Yeah.
film credit. I don't know if that was his first major one. Another one that just because it makes me laugh, because of an iconic scene with I'm gonna say that I'll see if you can guess it. So it stars two legends, one of which has a strong connection to the Batman movie franchise. About two ne'er-do-well con men, and they have an iconic scene involving a switch where one person runs and slaps the other one on the shin. Do you know the movie, my friend?
Slaps each other on the chin, on the shin.
Shin, with a piece of wood. I'll call it a switch. It's actually, I think it's a reed. But it is. It also stars Glenn Headley from Mr. Holland's Opus and Monk as well. She plays the captain's wife in the show Monk. Also, R.I.P. to her. She passed a few years ago. And again,
I'm blank.
The Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Steve Martin and Martin Short.
No, Michael Caine.
Oh, Michael Caine. Okay.
Who plays Alfred in the Nolan Batman. And then my last one of my honorable mentions, it was right there. It almost popped into number 5, but I got to give it to you. And this is the only duo that I have that one of the members is not human. And it is Tom Hanks and a dog by it whose real name is Beasley, Hooch. Turner and Hooch.
I mean, you could be Tom Hanks and Wilson too.
Yeah. Well, okay. So who are you saving, Wilson or Hooch?
Hooch.
Thank you.
A dog is way more important than any stupid volleyball. No matter a dog. He could have made it. He would have kept his sanity a lot better on that island with Hooch.
Exactly. Now the other part that's got to start about this is that they always showed Wilson, which is the still one from before I get to my horrible thought I just had. If you steal a line from the Family Guy series, they should have named him Vaught after the real name of the volleyball, but the other volleyball brand. But you ever notice so Tom Hanks spent quite a few years on that island alone.
Mm-hmm.
They always showed Wilson from the front. You ever wonder what Wilson looked like if you turned him around?
I never wondered until this moment.
Yep. Because he was really emotionally attached to Wilson. And maybe just those lonely nights.
He got a little handy with him.
Yes, and maybe he pumped it up. Yeah. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huh.
Wilson. Maybe he yelled that up more. Okay, we're gonna move forward.
Yeah, that's probably wise.
Yeah. Let's go forward here. All right. So here's my absolute top 5, my friend. Okay. So my top 5 from 5 to number 1. So because we're talking about buddy movies, really the duo that kicked it off, at least in the 80s, I got to get Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte for the 48 Hours franchise.
48 Hours, yeah. Another. Why we only got 2?
Yeah, I think there was room. I think maybe. Well, I think Eddie Murphy was making a lot of money, and Nick Nolte was going Nick Nolte. So I think there may be a reason there. But number 1, that was number 5. Number 4, one of my favorite movies to watch. I think it's a good time. I'm also sad that we did not get a sequel out of this. Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy in The Heat.
Yeah, good call. That was good.
I got to give these two their flowers just because not only in their movies, but they are real life. They're not just co-stars. They're legit friends, and any content they do from social media to full-on blockbusters always makes me laugh. Our boys, The Rock and Kevin Hart. So whether we're talking the last 2 Jumanji movies or Central Intelligence, they just always are a good time. You mentioned them last week. You didn't mention them this week, but Will Smith and Martin Lawrence for the Bad Boy movies.
Bad Boys, yeah.
And I gotta say, I am flabbergasted. This duo did not make your list. I would have bet money. Not only would this duo have been on our list, they would have been both our number 1s. But again, it shows the depth of. I'm not criticizing at all.
No,
but my number 1, Danny Glover and Mel Gibson
Riggs and Murtaugh. So
Now, go ahead. I'll let you say
I
your
was
soap
gonna
first.
say, I had them on there on my list,
Hmm.
and I was like, I want man, and I took them out because I thought of Fred and Barney,
Gotcha.
and I'm
Gotcha.
like, man, okay, who's more iconic?
Fair.
And
Fair.
yeah,
Fair.
but no, they were
Fair.
gonna be on my list. Yeah.
Fair. And honestly, had anybody kind of hung out with Bruce Willis more, I'm sure Die Hard would run it, but he had a different kind of tag partner every one of the Die Hard movies, including
Mm-hmm.
his son in that wretched film. Okay. So then I got two last before we move forward to our game search. So number one is just those of the 25 duos that we had, one duo from film that you could honestly say are the OGs of buddy movies. Neither one of us mentioned Butch Cassidy and Sundance.
That was another one that I thought about too. I was thinking about it, but
Yeah,
I
that it
just
shows
didn't
you the
find my list.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
That it
So
shows the depth of this category.
yeah, man, like I should have went to 15 like you did, and I don't know why I didn't because I had good 5 or 6
I
more
kept
like
thinking about it.
honorable.
Yeah, we didn't mention, there's super bad. There's so many, from back in the day to more recently. But then pop quiz for you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So Danny Glover and Mel Gibson, they're known for the Lethal Weapon movies,
Mm-hmm.
and they did 4 Lethal Weapon movies. They are also co-stars in a 5th movie.
Mm-hmm.
That is outside of the Lethal Weapon franchise. You
Yeah.
know what movie it is?
Yes, Danny Glover does a small role in it, and it's the gambler.
Not the gambler, it's
Oh,
Maverick, but he is a
Maverick,
gambler
Maverick.
in it.
Yeah,
I
that's
give
right.
you points. I give you
Yeah,
points. I
man,
give you points.
that movie is great.
It really is. I
That
mean, you've
movie
got
is
that. You've got
great.
those two. You've got James Garner, got Jodie Foster. Um, So yeah. Another great movie with Jodie Foster is, if you've not seen it, which I get the feeling you probably have, if you're looking for something that is in the same vein as John Wick, but not John Wick, and how they would let it somehow make some type of crossover.
Yeah,
Have you seen Hotel Artemis?
I have not. I thought you were going to Point of No Return, but that's
No.
Bridget Fonda. That's Bridget
Yeah.
Fonda.
Check
Yeah.
out Hotel Artemis. It stars Jodie Foster, Dave Bautista, Sterling K. Brown,
What?
Brian. Oh shoot, I'm gonna forget his name now, but he is in Atlanta and Bullet Train. Brian, shoot, can't think of his last name, and as well as the guy that played Siler and Spock, and I can't think of Zachary Quinto.
Is that okay? Is that quickly okay?
Yeah, uh,
How did I
fan,
not know about this movie?
Hotel Artemis. It didn't do well in the theaters. I think it came out with some really, and it didn't get enough. It doesn't get enough marketing. But I think if you have Max, you can actually stream it on Max. Hotel Artemis. It is, again, if you like that dark, like layers of the underworld type deal, it totally fits that in Hotel Artemis. Jodie Foster, and again, but Dave Bautista is fantastic. Kind of steals the movie
And Jeff
as the
Goldblum.
yeah, Goldblum. Oh, did you just look it up? Goldblum.
Yep.
The scenes with Foster and Goldblum are fantastic. You get to see
Charlie
Jeff
Day.
Goldblum play a prick, and that is rare.
Mm-hmm.
And all those things that we love about Jeff Goldblum, when he's kind of that nerdy kind of, he's too smart for his own good. He's really a good guy. Very much those same quality when he's a villain. So check out Hotel Artemis, my friend.
I will. I just added to my watch list, so
Cool beans.
I'll definitely
All
check it
right,
out.
sir. So now we have our game quiz show part of the show. I've got a same plot, new character. You said you also got a few things for me.
Mhm.
Where do you want to lead us here? Where do you want to go first with?
You know what? Let's do your honest ad first.
Oh, I can do my honest ad. Perfect. All right. So this was inspired by some good news you gave me. One of your kids, Miss Anna, got her first job. So I stole her story to inspire this week's honest ad, which is about getting your first job.
Love it.
Bagging groceries, cutting grass, washing cars, and watching kids. For so many of us, these are our very first gigs. The burgers we flip, the shelves we stock, we started from the bottom to hopefully one day reach the top. Thank you, Drake. Minimum wage and little respect. Each day we took a small step up the corporate ladder. of fortune and fame. Those mergers, those meager beginnings carry no shame. Every one of us has a start, no matter how humble. Remember, even Bill Gates and Steve Jobs had their stumbles. The value of a dollar, worth ethic and more, a very bright future lies beyond those doors. Congratulations, Anna, from your dad and his bro. Your nerd positive future is about to grow. Got
Nice.
you, man. Congrats again,
Nice.
Anna.
Damn, dude. Yes, good job. And I'm probably you're my human of the week, by the way, kid. I love you.
I'm going to steal that one. My son Brennan, his birthday is tomorrow. He is also my human of the week.
Nice. So, you know what? Let's do one of the things that I got, and then we'll jump into the game, and then we'll do it. So this one here, I went. We were talking about buddy cop movies, stuff like that. So I thought it'd be
there
cool.
He is.
Happy birthday!
Brad said happy birthday.
Awesome.
Yep.
Have fun.
Oh, he will. Trust that.
So I went to Chat GPT
to
come up with some synopsis for fake movies in the buddy cop genre.
Okay.
So I figured I'm going to read one, and then we'll talk about for a second who would we put in these roles.
Gotcha.
Or just the main ones, and we'll kind of go from there.
Works for me, brother.
The first one is called Cuff and Collar.
Hey, before you start, I meant to send it to you. On Facebook, there actually is a nerd fandom page where what they do is they put into Chat GPT, of like to create superheroes. And generally what it does for the person's visual, it makes an amalgam of heroes that already exist. But some of the backstories it gives are really, really good, which on one hand is kind of cool from a fan, but second I go, well, shoot, content creators, hey, sure up your stuff, folks, because I want my stuff written by humans, not by a machine. But let's see what ChatGPT gave us from the buddy cop genre. Let's hit it.
All right, so this is Cuff and Collar. Detective Max.
Think I saw that once, and I think it led to me getting something from under. I'm sorry, please go ahead.
Oh, you're good. Detective Max. Oh, I got it.
I was waiting on that one, brother. I was waiting.
Boom. All right. Detective Max Cuff Reynolds is a no-nonsense, by-the-book cop who plays it safe and follows every rule. Enter his new partner, Charlie Collar Martinez, a thrill-seeking ex-bounty hunter with a knack for bending the law to get results. When a string of high-profile heists threatens the city, this mismatched duo must learn to work together, balancing Cuff's strict adherence to protocol with Collar's unorthodox methods. Along the way, they uncover conspiracy that gets deeper than they ever imagined, testing their partnership and their definition of justice. Who is Max? Who would you cast as Max Cuff Reynolds, the no-nonsense, by-the-book cop?
I'm thinking I got two names popped in my head. So depending on the age bracket, if we're going, they're probably in reality about the same age bracket as real people. If you wanted him younger, I go Daniel Radcliffe.
Ooh, I like
it. If you want them a little older, I go either Colin Hanks or James McAvoy.
Love it. Okay. What about Charlie Collar Martinez, a thrill-seeking ex-bounty hunter with a knack for bending the law to get results?
I go, and again, I have to look at the age bracket, but given Charlie Martinez, obviously person of Latino descent, I'm going to play off, since Charlie can be a unisex name depending on how you spell it. I'm going to spell Charlie Charli, make Charlie female, and I'm thinking Zoe from Doctor Strange and the Doctor Strange 2. So I'm thinking maybe age her up a little bit. She played America. I just had a quick thought about this. I'm thinking she might be a little young, but what about America Ferrera? So I'm thinking
Yep.
spunky, attractive. Also play off with the idea of the collar things, like how to get the name collar. Oh, well, really? She could play off that. And I think about you drawing like a little, because let's be real, this would not be Citizen Kane. Okay,
Yeah.
this would be almost like that Gerard Butler, Jennifer Aniston movie, The Bounty Hunter, like just
Mhm.
or whatever. I don't think that was the name of it. There's a bounty hunter in that, but just this, you have this underlying. They're gonna eventually do something. They're gonna hook up at some point. That, or if you want to play it the other way, have it be someone a little older. I would also stick with, again, Daniel Radcliffe as Cuff, but then Salma Hayek as Collar. Either her
I dig it.
or and because I don't know enough Latina actresses, and that's my failing. Either her or she was in Blow with Johnny Depp. I'm blanking on her name right now. Uh gosh darn it. What is her name? I'm just gonna use the Google device super
That's
fast.
all right.
It would be Penelope Cruz. Why on earth am I not remembering Penelope Cruz? So,
I
and
don't
I
know. I'm a
think I
little.
like I like Penelope Cruz actually better than Hayek, because she's
Yeah.
the thing you can get, but I think I like her vibe a lot better. So yeah, that's gonna be my final one. Is Daniel Radcliffe, young, stay by the book, as Cuff, and then Penelope Cruz as Charlie Collar, with a little sassiness, being new, and of course we have that will they, won't they, and we know they will. That is my pick for Cuffs and Collars.
All right, now I'm actually gonna skip two of these because they're pretty much the exact same thing now that I'm reading them. So, we're gonna skip Badge and Batter and Brick and Motor.
First
All right.
off, both of those sound again like something that you hear, like a lot of guitar riffs, like during the
Yeah.
scene. Like, yeah, okay. Like there'll be movies that you want to delete your search history after you watch them. So yes.
Exactly. All
All
right.
right.
Here's
Get rid of your
one.
cookies, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's hit it.
This one is called Protocol and
Liking it.
Mayhem.
Protocol and Mayhem. Okay.
Protocol and
First
Mayhem.
off, we're showing the name just the protocol, but go for it.
Yep. Okay. In a futuristic metropolis where crime runs rampant, Lieutenant Evelyn Protocol Shaw is assigned to work with an unpredictable android named Mayhem, mechanically augmented yearling with highly enhanced maneuvers. Evelyn's
like
rigid,
Data in StreamYard, just that. All right. Okay.
right?
Okay.
Evelyn's rigid adherence to police procedures clashes with Mayhem's unconventional tactics and programmed unpredictability as they delve into a complex web of cybercrime and political corruption. Evelyn and Mayhem must find common ground and trust in each other's strengths to save their city from a high-tech criminal mastermind.
Okay. So again, two names popped up in my head just figuring where we want to go with this. I think if you want to have the person play a little bit older or a little bit more mature season, I go Sandra Bullock. I think if you do younger,
Ooh, I like Sandra Bullock.
I think if we go younger, my head jumped to Chloe Grace Moretz.
Emma Roberts would be good.
Emma Roberts are also really good.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, and probably because we've talked about them a lot, but I'm thinking if I want to be I want my android to appear human, but also to go, it wouldn't shock me if you were a machine. So then I go, it's only for something supposed to be serious, unfeeling, somewhat menacing. I go Dave Bautista.
Of course. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
All right.
So we pulled the whole Drax card.
Yeah. All right. Last one. This one is called Blaze and Ice.
Sounds like something you would buy that comes in Ziploc bags, but okay.
Yep. And I think, never mind. Yeah. Okay. In the sweltering heat of Miami,
Yes, sir.
Detective Marcus Blaze Thompson is known for his fiery temper.
There's no cop that could call himself Blaze and keep his job. No.
You're right. You're
But
right.
let's
You're
go
right.
for it. Okay, Marcus Blaze. All right, all right, cool.
This was going to take place in the 80s.
Okay. Oh, it's gotta. It's gotta. All right.
Known for his fiery temper and relentless pursuit for justice, his new partner, Detective Olivia Ice Carter, is cool under pressure and always keeps her composure. When a powerful drug cartel starts a deadly turf war, Blaze's aggressive tactics and Ice's calm, strategic mind are put to the test. Together, they must navigate the dangerous underworld of Miami's drug trade, learning to trust each other and use their contrasting styles to bring down the cartel and restore peace to the city.
All right. This one, I absolutely now. Other than it sounds like give me Blaze's
Mhm.
legal name again.
Detective Marcus Blaze Thompson.
All
It's
right,
got to be
that
Method Man, right? It's got to be Method Man.
I can see Method Man, but my head went. So we're doing it in the '80s. I'm thinking two people that could live with that. So this is the one that I actually felt like I know who I want to be casted. So
Okay.
it's Blaze. I'm going Glenn Powell from Top Gun Maverick,
Okay. Okay. I like it.
and then for his partner, I'm going Zendaya.
Ooh.
I
Oh,
I I think you do the '80s, that brash, that high
the
personality.
high hair.
You can have a banging soundtrack, including Zendaya can sing, or she could do one of the
Right.
tracks from it. I think you could dust off Sheila E. and Miami Sound Machine. I
Mm-hmm.
mean Gloria Stefan and Miami Sound Machine, but I'll put a little Sheila E. in there. All the things. So yeah, that one actually works. I don't know about a movie. That will work really
That's a
good
show.
as a show, especially either Netflix or Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
By the
that's a
way,
show.
Brad, I don't know if you saw this, but Triple H, I don't know what about this has made me think about this. Triple H shared that when Raw goes to Netflix next year, Raw will be uncensored.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
It's gonna be
Now,
awesome.
could you imagine the DX days if you gave them uncensored?
Oh God.
Oh,
Oh God.
yeah.
It would have been
Shawn Michaels
so.
back when he was on the Painkillers, dude. Scott
Yeah.
Hall and Kevin Nash when they were on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
Uh-huh.
God.
Yeah. Could you imagine the joys of hey, I love me some Cody, but my favorite member, or she's no longer a member of the Roses or the Runnels family. My favorite member of that family has always been Marlena, aka Terry Runnels. That was always my personal favorite member of the family. By the way, do you know this is a wrestling pop quiz for you? After Terry Runnels, who wrestled as sort of kind of wrestled, but was there as both Alexandra York in the WCW days, and then Marlena when they went to the WWF at the time.
Mm-hmm.
After her and Dustin Rhodes, Cody's big brother, after they split, she dated another wrestler. Do you know who that other wrestler was? I'll give you one hint. The person has a direct tie to Paul Heyman.
Is it CM Punk?
It is not CM Punk.
Who is Eric Bischoff?
No. Ready?
Yeah.
In the ECW, they had a tag team called the Gangstas. Do you remember New Jack?
New Jack. The name sounds familiar.
A uber violent brother who actually him and Terry were together for a hot minute. She actually sued him because after they split, he sold nude photos of her at wrestling conventions. And she had to sue him to stop him from sharing the photos, which he goes, he took them that made them his. And eventually there was an injunction. But yeah, New Jack and was incredibly violent wrestler. In fact, got sued. If you ever seen the documentary on wrestling, that's been one of the first ones, he actually got sued because there was a young man. This is a total tangent. There's a
Mhm.
young man, and his real name I don't remember, but I remember he wrestled as Mass.
Jerome Young.
Yes. So there was a young man who wrestled as Mass Transit, who was a heavy guy who was a wrestler. He went to do at an early ECW show, and we talk about blood. He needed to blade. He had never bladed himself before, so he asked New Jack to do it. New Jack did blade the young man, but the guy, he told everyone he was 19. He was like 15. And his father Shaw saw it, and they sued ECW. It was thrown out of court because they were able to produce the falsified documents the young man supplied. But yeah, New Jack was like, it was a heavy deal. But that's the guy that she went to from the Natural. She went to New Jack. But anyway, that's just an aside. But yes, sir, that was fun. That was fun. So Chat GPT, you're right. Some of there was some similarities, but I like the idea of. And by the way, Glenn Powell and Zendaya, yes, oh yes.
Yes, 100%. All the yeses.
She is without a doubt. As much as I love Doom Part 2, she without a doubt is the best part of Doom Part 2. She's also the best part of the Spider-Man movies. And if you've never heard her sing, she actually remakes the song "How Do I Breathe" with Mario as a duet, and she can sing. She has an amazing voice. All right, brother. Not to mention, you ever seen in Euphoria? That's the whole other side of her skill set. All right.
Yes, and you got a game for me.
I do. So we debuted this last week, ladies and gentlemen. This is same plot, new characters. Well, Brian Dennis will tell the story of one of our favorite movies, a movie that is well known, that I'm pretty sure that both of us have seen. But and what I will do is I will substitute the names of the characters in the movie while it's the same actor or actress with other roles they have played, and I play with the plot. While everything will still be factual, I'm going to just play with some of the wording a little bit. And we'll see if Bradley can figure out the movie that I'm speaking of. So with that being said, and I keep going into my Thundercats background, so we'll change the camera angle a little bit. There I am. So Bradley, are you ready to figure out same plot, new characters?
Thundercats, ho!
All right, here we go. Sirius Black extends his reach from Castle Black to Belarus. Instead of being Harry's beloved uncle, he rules over the small country more like a Slytherin than a Gryffindor. Along the way, he runs into Jules Winfield and offers him a tasty burger to go medieval on that ass. Jules declines and calls him a motherfucker. Sirius overreacts just a little bit and starts dropping killing curses everywhere. On the other side of the planet, our buddy, the Merc with a mouth, is escorting this weird throuple to the airport. All of a sudden, things go upside down, and fast forward 2 years, Wade is risking his neck, rescuing Allegiant General Edric Pride out of his office. Meanwhile, Jules is looking for his buddy Vincent Vega, who is probably busy getting his face off with Nicolas Cage. Wade is also on the hunt for the Greatest Showman, but he's probably hanging out in Transylvania with Celine and the rest of the underworld. Wade and Jules wind up stealing cars, riding on a bus with nuns, and overall annoying the hell out of each other, and even wrote poor Frida Kahlo into all this chaos before Jules says he's tired of these motherfucking bullets in this motherfucking courthouse. Without the help of the Google device, can you tell me the movie? And I'm glad to read that synopsis again for you, sir.
So, as you're going along, I have a mental checklist. I wrote down a couple of notes.
Absolutely.
And I kept on going to, and I'm not 100% sure on this.
All right.
But I'm going to make this an answer.
Okay.
Is it Bram Stoker's Dracula?
No! All right. So let's unpack and I'll give you the answer. Okay. So who plays Sirius Black in the Harry Potter movies?
Gary Oldman.
All right. So Gary Oldman extends his reach from Castle Black to Belarus. That's a click. I can't know where a lot of this movie takes place of. But instead of being Harry's beloved uncle, he rules over the small country more like Slytherin than a Gryffindor. So this is a movie where Gary Oldman plays the villain. Along the way, he runs into Jules Winfield and offers him a tasty burger to go medieval on that ass. So what film do we hear people talk about a tasty burger going medieval on that ass?
Pulp Fiction.
And do you remember who plays Jules Winfield? The brother with the afro who's a hitman.
Oh
He is
God.
the godfather of the show.
Oh, Samuel Jackson.
All right, so we've got Gary Oldman and Samuel Jackson. Now we move to the next big part. So Jules the Clown called a motherfucker. That was my hint there.
Mhm.
Sirius overreacts, starts dropping killing curses, so he's killing people. On the other side of the planet, our buddy the Merc with the mouth. What character is known as the Merc with the mouth?
Well, it's Deadpool, so we're talking about Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. So now we've got Gary Oldman, Samuel Jackson, and Ryan Reynolds. And I should have said this is a buddy movie.
Okay.
Reynolds escorts a throuple, basically a group of people to an airport. Now we fast
Oh,
forward 2
this is my
years.
the hitman's
Yes,
bodyguard.
yes. So if you don't, the gentleman that is in the office that he goes into, actually in the Rise of Skywalker, plays Allegiant General Enric Pride. And then again, the buddy movie, and that's why I brought in Frida Kahlo. The actor played Frida Kahlo was Salma Hayek. So if you get Samuel Jackson, Ryan Reynolds, Salma Hayek, and Gary Oldman, you get the Hitman's Bodyguard.
I forgot that Gary Oldman was in the Hitman's Bodyguard.
They did a lot of makeup on Gary Oldman because he's supposed to have a scarred face from being from attempted assassination.
Man. Oh,
but yes,
good job.
Yes.
Well done.
Did
well
you
done.
know, as I was researching this, Gary Oldman was married to Uma Thurman for like 2 years.
He was?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes, he's been married like 6 times.
I mean,
but yeah, Uma Thurman, I mean, good job out of you, Gary.
What's your favorite Gary Oldman role? What do you think is his defining role?
Oh, see, defining is different from favorite. So defining role to me is because I was just looking at filmography earlier today. My favorite role for me is as Jim Gordon, Sergeant Gordon, ultimately Commissioner Gordon. I gotta give him love there. As far as his defining role, I was just looking at that earlier today. I'm gonna just check his filmography because it was he in Bram Stoker's Dracula? I feel like
he was Dracula.
There, so that will be it. Yeah. By the way, they were only married for 2 years. He and Uma Thurman were married from 90 to 92. But yeah, I gotta give him that one. He is 66. I'm just looking at so many of the other folks we're looking at that we love because movies keep people eternally young. But when I look at a lot of the folks that you and I love their work, so many of them are in their late 60s, early 70s. So let's enjoy them while we can. Again, we hear a lot of, Bruce Willis. Again, I don't know what it was. It was kind of the theme of today. And I was looking at people, I found so many people that had passed away that I am just a fan of their work. But I mean, so many of the things he was in, I'm looking at his filmography right now. So Sirius Black, which we mentioned, James Gordon, which we've mentioned multiple times. I forgot he played Bill Carnegie, so he was also a villain in the Book of Eli. He has a voice role in Kung Fu Panda. The new RoboCop he was in. I mean, he's in so many things, but yeah, I gotta say for me, Bram Stoker's Dracula is probably his best role. Well, I'm lying to you. Both I think is his best and my favorite role, and I can't believe I forgot about it. He's not in it he's a minor character, but he is the antagonist when he plays Zorg in The Fifth Element. I gotta say, I think that scene, and it's my favorite scene of the movie, where he's gone to the cruise line, he's gone to Floston Paradise. He's activated the bomb. He gets on, and this is a perfect supervillain trope. He checks to make sure he has a stone after he's left, and he plays it so well. He opens it, he giggles like I have won, and then he goes, "They're not here," and he's really like crying so hard he's laughing, and that scene was just so phenomenal. And of course, we know what happens there. And that movie, by the way, Fifth Element, is to this day the most popular French film. of all time, because it actually is a French film. That's was made and financed in France. That's why you see some of the actors and some of the languages, some of the sensibilities of it, even with the naval uniforms that they show in Floss in Paradise, have a kind of an old school French influence. But Gary Oldman is one of my absolute favorite actors. And again, he's I would love to see a Liam Neeson, Gary Oldman led film. I don't care if they just sat around drinking coffee and talking. I think it would be a fantastic movie. But that was that. So that was our same plot, new characters. Well played, sir.
Love it.
You got close. You got close.
All right, man. Okay, so I got one more thing.
Let's
So
hit it.
earlier today, I was I had an idea. I was sitting down. I'm trying to write like a something, and I wanted to get my creative juices flowing. And so here's I wanted my idea for a new superhero project, right?
All right.
And now instead of you, so the Earth is coming, like climate control, all that kind of
Sure,
fun stuff.
sure.
But anyway, what if instead of us trying to find source, what if another alien race came to us
Mm-hmm.
and said that their planet is gone and that they need to take refuge on Earth?
Gotcha.
And in doing that, they're going to bring with them all their technology
You
and
remember
to
V?
save
You
this.
remember V?
Yes, I do. And so this is a little bit about that, but with their technology, it turns they're when they kind of like the Kryptonian part, all of them have abilities on Earth.
Gotcha.
Some good, some bad.
Right.
Are they friend? Are they
Right.
foe?
Right. Right. Right.
All of
Right.
the things.
Right.
And are they the only ones coming?
Really like that. Really like that, sir.
What do you think? Just a basic thing.
I think it makes perfect sense. I think you could even call it refuge.
Mm.
Again, I like the idea of them coming. And I think it'd be great because then you could actually, if you did it either as a movies or a series, but as movies, you could actually, I think, do this is one of the ones we always talk about how sequels and trilogies don't work so well holding up. I think this is one of those you could write a longer story and just have breaks to make individual pieces of the first one is you have the visitors, the folks seeking refuge here, paint them as the sympathetic individuals and maybe not even show they have abilities. In fact, they maybe to our eyes appear to be weaker. They just have advanced technology, and you have these horrible conspiracy theorists, and we're having to protect our friends. And then at the end of the first movie, you realize that the visitors, the refugees, have powers that make them stronger. Maybe they may not even have them till they come to Earth. And some of the Superman, like I said, the Kryptonians, being in our climate, our atmosphere, our sun. And then once they realize, and I think that would probably be the slant I would take, once you have these individuals that have been persecuted and even maybe they don't even realize, but once they get to Earth and they become the strong ones, now instead of them wanting to be our friends and our allies and our buddies, they realize instead of asking for help, they can just take the whole damn planet. And I think that leads into the second act and maybe a third act. So I absolutely love the idea of we could call it Refuge Earth.
You know what? Actually, I want to piggyback on that a little bit too. I love that. Also, what about something like this as well? What if they could, or they have the technology, but they don't have the powers yet?
Yep.
The powers come from the offspring of the two DNAs mixing.
They're kids,
and then therefore the both species it's illegal to mix because they're so much powered.
Yes, I like that.
You can hit some huge political undertones with things like that. I mean, like,
I like it. It's almost you could play, you could also play a little bit off of I think it was District 19 is the name of it, but you see the constant reminders. Very, very good movie, very good movie. But you could again, you just flat great movie, as you said. Under not known by as many people. If you like sci-fi with again especially non-American sci-fi. If you
Yeah.
like that, if you like those movies that have, like I said, and they're being very thinly veiled. Things of talking about how our own geopolitical climate is across the country, across the globe. Check out District 19. But with that being said, having daily reminders of the technology. So again, whether it's like in District 19 where you have the spaceship that's hovered over Johannesburg, or you have things like Quiet Skies, where you just have something always there. So again, you see the technological benefit of this race, of these visitors, of these refugees. And I think I would absolutely have them look almost like, and this is why I would steal something from V. They would absolutely look identical
Yeah.
to Earth human beings, other than maybe something in their eyes, like
Mm-hmm.
something that is readily identifiable, but only if you're looking at one particular body part, like
Red
say,
pupils.
red pupils, something like that. And then again, the longer they're in our atmosphere, so maybe that's what it is that. And I think so. You're not having a direct pull from Superman, where it's the red sun. Like you said, they come from a planet that maybe doesn't have that has a lot more nitrogen. I'm not a scientist, obviously. I'm just making something up. But their atmosphere has more nitrogen than oxygen, versus when you add in the things like oxygen that's in our air, what it finds that empowers them. And like you said, maybe it's the next generation, maybe it's only they've been here for so long, but something changes in them, especially if maybe the average member of the race of visitors didn't know, but maybe their leadership did, and that's why they picked the Earth. And then you get the whole, no, this was never meant to be a visit; it was meant to be an invasion. So, and that you could even play with that as we're thinking this out loud. You could change it from refugee Earth to
To
eventually
invasion Earth.
invasion Earth. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. I like that a
Dude,
lot.
the trilogy would be Refugee Earth, something Earth, and then Invasion Earth, or it could be
No, I
Refugee
like,
Earth, Invasion Earth,
and then
and Aftermath Earth, or something like that.
Rescue Earth.
Rescue Earth, yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Maybe we would just call it the Earth series or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But
yeah. I love that. I
um,
love that. And at some point, Will Smith's got to show up and beat up the aliens.
yeah, absolutely,
How
absolutely.
about this? If we're gonna play like one, I think we can do it totally as a serious sci-fi movie. But how about this? So, you've seen World War Z, I'm assuming, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, and I'm forgetting the gentleman's name, but he was the star of Scorpion. And so he's in World War Z as the scientist, and then as he's getting, like, they get to the first base after the zombies come, or the Z's come, and they see as he's running back on the plane, he slips because it's wet, and he dies because he shoots himself in the head accidentally. But he's only there. Like, what about if we built up? I think it'd be great if this was a real film. You could convince him to do it. Like, you have this great build up of this person that's going to help save our planet, and it winds up, instead of being Will Smith, it's Jaden Smith, and he immediately dies.
Yeah.
And he immediately dies. And
Oh man,
maybe he's killed by Chris Rock. And Chris is like, I knew I'd get you. I told you I was gonna get you back, Will.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that also, with Will Smith's power in Hollywood, that'll probably be the last thing to ever happen. But I think about it, they're like, hey, Jaden, can we bring you in just as a thing, like just have you in the movie, just because we couldn't get your dad
wearing a white Batman suit.
Yeah, fair.
Oh man,
fair. All right, no, I like that.
I think there's definitely something there, man. I like.
We can play with that. I think we can definitely play with that a little bit more. We can flesh it out more.
Before we wrap things up, dude,
Yes,
I have to bring this up. A Quiet Place Day One.
How was it?
Fantastic, man. Like, okay, this is how good Lupita Nyong'o should be in everything. This, man, like the movie is not what you think. It is not the movie that it was mismarketed. It's in the series. Usually with the when you get a trilogy, stop at one.
Yeah.
Dude, this I think I liked better than the original one.
Okay. And
And
this is this
dude,
a prequel or a sequel in the timeline?
it's a prequel. It's a
I
prequel.
thought so. I thought so.
But
Okay.
there is a scene just to tell you how good this movie is. One of the main characters is a cat,
Is it Goose?
and no, it's not a flirkin either.
Not a
But
flirkin. Okay. Okay.
and Lupita, there's a scene with it. I guess I shouldn't say I guess I shouldn't say main character, but a very very important part of the movie is the cat. But
Okay.
Lupita Nyong'o, there's a part of this movie where she's sitting in a fountain and she looks over and she sees two kids, and I am going to remember this scene for the rest of my life
Gotcha.
because it was and honestly the scene, not a lot happens in that scene, but it was I remember just watching this and I'm like, what am I watching? Like, it was one of the best movie scenes I've seen in a long, long time. And if you have not seen A Quiet Place Day One, you and I need to go. The girls want to see it
Yeah.
this week, so
Yeah.
we'll have to text about that.
Absolutely.
But man, I just had to bring it up because it was such a good movie.
No. She steals, I think, pretty much any movie, any scene she's in.
Mhm.
I mean, we've talked about before her work in I mean, she was really good in Black Panther, but especially in Wakanda Forever. And
Mhm.
at the end, I mean, the little kid, but just the grace and nobility that she brings in everything she's in.
Mhm.
I think it's just fantastic when it comes to her. And so here's a little thing that cause I was looking her up the other day about something. Did you know that she actually technically is Mexican?
Really?
Because she was born in Mexico City.
Huh. Interesting.
So yeah, so it's one of those unique things. Like, hey, it's where people are. But anyway, with that being said, I mean, she is just a fan. I'm looking at her filmography right now. So when you look at this, 12 Years as a Slave, she was fantastic. She was super young. As she was in Nonstop. Let's see
Us.
what else she was in. Little Monsters, Us, Love Us. She's just fantastic. And look at some of her. I forgot she was in the Human Resources. So yeah, she is just a fantastic. I mean, just fantastic. So again, more Lapita, better. Not to mention, she's just a strikingly gorgeous woman as well. So
Such a great
from
movie.
talent and beauty and all the things. And Lapita, you always be our Wakanda forever. All right,
Absolutely.
brother man. What else you got for us?
That's it, dude. We already talked about our human of the week. I think
Yes,
it's
sir.
well, where can we find Brian S. Dennis?
You can find Brian S. on the Book of Faces at Brian Stephen Dennis, which is what my government name, the S stands for. Feel free to give me a like, a follow, a friend request. I always try and keep it funny and occasionally weird. What about you, sir?
You can find me, friend me, and follow me at Facebook at The Fandemic, TikTok at Nerd Positive One, Instagram at The Fandemic One. If you feel there's more of a conversation, feel free to reach out. Let's talk. Let's have an episode of
Let's do it.
the show. We love talking to people. So if you want to support the show, there are several ways to do so. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/nerd positive. Find us on Patreon at patreon.com/nerd positive. Become an episode assistant, an episode producer, a pre-bench producer like Stacy, or yes, you could be part of the Council of Nerds, starting at around $5 a month. Go to PayPal or Venmo at Bradley Butin. I won't say no. Most importantly, just share the show with someone you want to make a little more awesome. Brian, we have reached max levels of awesome. How do we end every show?
Again, thank you for coming on, catching the positivity, and being nerd positive. This is the one thing that you'll be found positive for that you will never regret. So thank you for joining for the best hour plus of our week. As always, we thank you for your time, your attention, your love, and for joining us being nerd positive. Remember, a nerd is really the best thing you can be. So if we say our goodbye this week, please remember two very, very important things. First off, no retreat, no surrender, and Goonies. Never say die.
Friendship is like peeing on yourself. Everyone can see it, but only you get the warm feeling that it brings. Remember, there's 2 reasons not to drink toilet water. That's number 1 and number 2. Every time you think.
That still wins so hard. That's like that's like a Kendrick Lamar bar. That is so hard. That is so hard. All right.
Remember,
I see the littles have joined you.
squirrels' cheeks are also their nut sacks. Oh, bye-bye.
Oh, bye bye, bro. Have a good one, man.